Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode of the Cultural Diplomacy podcast. Today we will discuss about Netherlands. Officially known as the Kingdom of the Netherlands, the country is divided into 12 provinces, each with its own regional government, while the central government is based in The Hague, despite Amsterdam being the official capital. Diplomatic relations between the Republic of Moldova and the Kingdom of the Netherlands were established in July 1992. Historically, the Netherlands has a long-standing tradition of independence and global trade. During the 17th century Golden Age, it emerged as one of the world's most powerful economies and cultural centers, excelling in maritime commerce, science, and arts. The Netherlands is a country that fascinates through its diversity and rich cultural, historical, and natural heritage. Today, I have the pleasure of welcoming His Excellency Mr. Fred Duijn, the Ambassador of the Kingdom of the Netherlands to the Republic of Moldova, to guide us on a journey about his country. Hello and welcome. Thank you for accepting our invitation to be a guest in our podcast community. It's an honor for us. And also thank you for hosting us in this beautiful location, which is the residence of the embassy.
Hello Catalina, bună ziua, bine ați venit.
Mulțumim.
Here in the residence of the Dutch embassy. It's an honor for me as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Your Excellency, the Netherlands has a long and influential history in Europe and beyond. How has its historical role as maritime and trade power shaped its national identity today?
That's a very nice question to start with, Catalina. And in diplomacy, I like to start with geography. And the Netherlands, as you mentioned, is in the northwest of Europe, but more importantly, it is along the North Sea.
Yes.
And its culture, its traditions, its economy is very much also influenced by this fact. And as we are here, I think behind us, a beautiful painting by the painter Kees van Dongen. He made it in 1961. He passed away now, but he was part of an influential group of painters at the time, and I particularly like this one. It came from the Netherlands, because it reminds me of the North Sea. The North Sea can be wild, it can be a foe. You know, the Netherlands is partly below sea level. It can be a friend as well. So over time, the water has also protected from enemy invasion. So the Netherlands' culture and history is very much influenced by the North Sea. Rotterdam is a big trading port, of course. So for commerce, the North Sea is important. But also, of course, having to fight the water, building the dikes is very important. And this connection of the seafaring nation is also, you can find it back in our language. There are so many expressions related to shipping that if you ask me about art, history, and how it is influenced today, there are many thoughts that come up. But certainly the sea is an important one.
Dutch Golden Age is known for its remarkable achievements in art, science, and commerce. How is this legacy reflected in contemporary Dutch society and culture?
I would say today in multifaceted ways. So of course there is a certain level of pride and continuation, and I would say the House of Orange is an example of that. The family of Orange defended the nation, and it became a nation against Spanish occupation. For 80 years there was a war, and they played an important role at the time, and they are still, of course, playing an important role. The king is of the House of Orange. The national hymn, for example, is related also to that time that we like to call the Golden Age, because yes, it did bring a lot of change for the better at the time. And if you go to the Netherlands today, you will see many beautiful pieces of art in musea. Of course, Rembrandt is very famous, but there are many. And still today we are proud of that. So very recently, two famous museums in the Netherlands, the Frans Hals Museum in Haarlem and the Mauritshuis in The Hague, they bought two paintings of Frans Hals, two paintings that were on auction, I believe in New York, and they seem to appear to be his children. So there's this continuation in the Netherlands today that is related to the Golden Age. But there is also a sort of reflection upon the darker pages, if you like, that are related to the history. So colonialism is not seen in a good light these days. And also the role of Dutch traders in slavery is under debate and discussion. And I'm very glad that's happening, because I think it's important to look reality also in history in its eyes, so to say. So there's a dual aspect to the Golden Age today in the Netherlands.
Of course. Tulips and wooden clocks are symbols often associated with the Netherlands. How do these elements still play a role in national culture and tourism?
Well, myself, I grew up in a tulip growing family. We had our own tulips, we exported them, so I could argue that they still play a very important role in today's society. But I suppose in, let's say, the image of the Netherlands, it has stuck as well. So for many people, the windmills, the tulips are a fact of life, so to say.
Yes.
But we know people love to see the tulips. And Keukenhof is a park that opens up in spring, and last year it had 1.4 million visitors. So that tells us also, as Dutch people, how popular the flowers are in the Netherlands. So it's something to share and to be proud of as Dutch people.
What can you tell us about some of the most iconic Dutch traditions or festivals?
Well, a very well-known one is King's Day.
Yes.
I mentioned the King already. We celebrated King's Day on his birthday, the 27th of April. And traditionally it's a day full of joy, so people have games, not only in the capital, but in all towns, in villages. There are children's games, but also adult games, so people are going to listen to music. So this is a very important day for the Netherlands, which is shared. So the king with his family, they also go and celebrate with the people. So the King's Day is not for the king, but it's the King's Day with the people. But there are other important days in the Netherlands, and we have very nice traditions. It's been a while since we had a good strong winter, but if we do, you will see everybody on ice. And it's a tradition that brings all layers of society together on the ice. It is a really social thing to be together skating on the lakes and the canals, which is very enjoyable. But there is also Carnival, not to be mistaken, or to be missed as an important tradition. More in the south, the country has some rivers going from east to west, let's say to the direction Rotterdam and the North Sea. And we say south of the rivers there's the Carnival, and the north the skating a bit more. There's also Liberation Day on the 5th of May, and many days that are joyful days for the Netherlands.
What role do embassies play today in promoting cultural heritage in this age where digital tools and public diplomacy are becoming increasingly important?
Well, cultural diplomacy these days is maybe for us, for many embassies, a way also to share, let's say, contemporary activities that take place in the Netherlands. So we use our public diplomacy to share a little bit developments that are related to innovation, related to climate change, related to all kinds of traditions that we have. So we use social media to express ourselves.
What inspired you to pursue a career in diplomacy, and how did your journey begin?
Well, that's also a very nice question.
We heard many stories.
Did you know?
Yes.
Okay.
Not about you, about also some other ambassadors.
Well, the right word is a journey. I think as I mentioned, I grew up in a family where we had flower bulbs and flowers. So I studied economics and business, and then I started my career in banking. But having done that study, I continued to be very interested in history. So I took some history courses at the University of Leiden. And then at some point someone said, you know, Fred, really you should have a look into diplomacy because you will like it. And at the time it took a long time to be recruited. It was a long and slow process. But then when they wanted me, I said, okay, let's go for it. And for me it was really the appeal of adventure, to go out in the world that attracted me to diplomacy, and also the possibility to be connected, to be continuously connected to your own country. So this meant having the possibility to discover the world, but also to remain connected to my own country, not to wander out completely, but be rooted.
And how was the transition from life you had in Netherlands to adapting to other cultures?
One of the things I like about my work is that it offers you to meet people. So when you are a tourist, you go through the streets and you see the doors. When you are a diplomat, you go through the doors. You meet the people at their homes. And so each time the transition, if you want to know, is one of meeting new people, new cultures, new ideas, new ways of doing things. And I just simply love that.
If you hadn't chosen a career in diplomacy, what other profession would you have enjoyed doing?
That's a nice question. It's funny because over Christmas time we played a game with cards, and then
yes,
you get difficult questions. And this
was one of them.
This was one of them, yes. And my spontaneous answer was I would love to be a director of an art museum.
Very nice.
Yes, yes.
What advice you would give to a young person interested in pursuing a career in diplomacy, considering your experience?
Yes, it's a question I receive many times from young people when they come and visit us in the embassy. Sometimes we have interns coming to us. And I tend to give 5 points that I think are important for young people to like. So you really have to like five things in diplomacy, because if you don't like it, then at some point you'll find that you have to do it and it goes against your character perhaps. The first one is you have to like to analyze. You have to enjoy discovering a new topic. When I went to Ireland in my career, all of a sudden I found myself in the Euro crisis, reading the Financial Times all the time to understand the dynamics of the Euro crisis. And it's an analytical job sometimes, and it's important that you like that. The second one you have to like is to organize, because there are so many events that take place. Here in this residence I host dinners and receptions, but sometimes we have trade missions, sometimes I have ministers that visit, and then you have to make out of your small team, we are 8 people here, a team that organizes events. You have to like that. Offering hospitality. The third thing you have to like is to network, to fraternize. Because each time you go to a new posting, you will find yourself with new people you don't know. And if you find it uncomfortable to simply go and meet out, go out and meet people,
it will not work.
Yes. So you have to like the network. The fourth thing you have to like is to negotiate. oftentimes there's some kind of negotiation that you're involved in, and you have to kind of like that kind of give and take, and you're not always getting what you want. It's also a bit of a game, so you have to like that type of work. And the final one is you have to like to communicate, particularly also written communication, because in diplomacy there's a lot of reports that you have to write, letters that you have to write, and it's a bit of a skill, sometimes an art to write, and you have to like that. So these 5 I always pick out.
Because you mentioned you have some inters coming. I know that academic collaboration is a vital part of culture and diplomacy, and Dutch education system is known for its innovation and openness. What opportunities currently exist for Moldovan students?
Good point. Yes, the Netherlands, it's true, it's a very open society. It comes together with the traditions that we mentioned earlier in the interview that are related to trade and to going out on the seas. The universities have a very good reputation in the Netherlands. Some of them are really top level. Many of them are in English. The college fees that are required are not at the same level as some of the universities in the Anglo-Saxon world. So the Netherlands is a very popular place to study. It's also a country with many fun towns for students. I have a colleague in the embassy who studied in Groningen, and he will not stop telling you about Groningen. So it's a fun place to study. It's a quality place to study. The challenge these days is to find housing. So student housing can be a problem. So if people from Moldova, Romania or elsewhere are interested in studying in the Netherlands, it's good to consider, yes, all these advantages, but to start looking for housing in time.
Moving forward to questions about economic and trade relation, how would you describe the current state of economic and trade relation between the Netherlands and Moldova?
I would describe it as on the edge of more. I looked at the growth of GDP of Romania after accession, and in the first 5 years it doubled. And 10 years after accession, so another 5 years, it totally tripled. So it doesn't keep on doubling, but it really increased a lot in 10 years' time. So if Moldova continues to reform and to come closer to the European Union, my sense is that not only the relationship with the Netherlands, but the economy of Moldova as a whole will substantially benefit and see similar types of GDP growth.
Which sectors show the greatest potential for growth?
Well, it's always interesting to talk to entrepreneurs, because you find that sometimes they find niches in areas where you did not think about. But certainly the ICT sector is strong here. We have also some Dutch entrepreneurs active in that field. Naturally, the agricultural sector is strong, and some of the production areas are also very interesting. As you know, we had recently a business forum together with Belgium and Luxembourg, a Benelux business forum, and so people attending more than we expected. You have to take into account that some entrepreneurs are a bit worried about the geopolitical situation, so we were also a bit conservative in our estimates, but more people than we budgeted for came. And I always try to divide them a little bit in a third ICT related, a third agriculture related, and a third the rest of production. And in agriculture, I think we as an embassy can also help a bit. Why? My sense is that if a sector is growing, then it's more or less developing on its own feet. But agriculture is typically an area where you have considerations, for example, related to food safety, and therefore there is a control system necessary. So you need the government to be prepared to check food quality. So you need laboratoria. So there's this in agriculture, typically you have a role for the government to play as well. And obviously also the EU has its own requirements. So this is an area we looked into a little bit deeper. We also had two experts coming to Moldova, analyzing particularly the horticultural sector. And they presented their findings in the Netherlands, and another 30 companies came to listen to their findings. And typically the Netherlands is good in food processing. So I was in Edinets, and there I went into a chicken farm, and they use Dutch equipment. I was in Edinets also in the industrial park, and there you have fruit growers, and they process the apples with Dutch machinery. So these are just examples where I think some technology from the Netherlands is also beneficial for Moldova, whilst Moldova itself is benefiting from accessing the European market.
What role do Dutch companies already present in Moldova play in boosting economic cooperation and local development?
Well, Dutch entrepreneurs here are sort of leading the way, so to say. They, of course, have their own business and they have their own livelihoods around that, but they are part of an ecosystem. So once newcomers have made it to Moldova, they will try to meet other entrepreneurs to learn what works in Moldova well, what are the challenges you have to look out for. So I see the Dutch entrepreneurs very much as part of an ecosystem that can help newcomers. And I also like to listen very closely to what they experience in terms of difficulties. Because a business climate is a sort of abstract word, but oftentimes you can find, let's say, that things that seem to be simple, you didn't think about yourself, but for one entrepreneur it can be very costly. So if you can bring that together in a let's say general approach, you can not help only one company but the whole business climate. So I also like to listen to these entrepreneurs, not only Dutch entrepreneurs by the way, but investors in general. I think can also be very valuable to talk to.
You mentioned the importance of agriculture, and I will say that Netherlands has also a strong tradition in sustainable water management. I'm curious if there are any opportunities for knowledge and technology transfer in this field between Dutch institutions and those in Moldova.
I believe there is. The Netherlands has worked for a number of years already in the field of water with Romania. This cooperation is called the Blue Deal. It unites the water boards in the Netherlands with the same organization, Apele Românie, if I say it correctly. Yes. But you have a similar organization here in Moldova. And last year, when they had their bilateral cooperation meeting, Apele Moldova was also invited to attend, and this is a first step to get to know each other a bit better, and maybe also find cooperation in a tripartite way, so three countries together, because of course it helps to understand the language, it helps to understand the geography, so where you can find synergies and cooperation, it can be beneficial for all three countries. So yes, as we move ahead, I certainly believe that can help also Moldova in its challenges to make sure irrigation improves, also water management in the river improves.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm not an expert, but I certainly see possibilities.
Following the success of Benelux Business Forum, which we had it this year in March, do you see potential for similar initiative to take place in the Netherlands, perhaps by organizing a business delegation from Moldova and Romania for an exchange of ideas, networking and partnership development?
Thank you. Indeed. So I'm very keen to see this happen. I came to Moldova 2 years ago, And my first decision was to host a business forum, and this was already in 2023, as a bit of a tryout to see what kind of interest we could create for the trade relation, the business relation with Moldova. And to my surprise, already then we had about 20 entrepreneurs, some of them Dutch companies in Romania, some here, but altogether it led to also my invitation to Moldovan authorities to organize something similar in the Netherlands.
Yes.
And when talking about Moldova and the Netherlands, it's important also to add a little bit of identity and to tell the story of Moldova. And so when you asked me about tulips and windmills and all sorts
Yes.
of ideas that come to mind when you think of the Netherlands, but for Dutch people also there is room to learn about Moldova. So it was not just a business forum that took place in the Netherlands, but it was actually a weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, of Moldovan days. And it was in the middle of the country, so easy to reach for everybody. And there was a display of music and dance and folk costumes and the wines, of course. So it was a real good cooperation, and I like to continue that reciprocity. So this year in March, as you mentioned, we had an event again here in Moldova, the Netherlands together with Belgium and Luxembourg as partners. And I certainly hope that next year we can see something similar again in the Netherlands, presenting Moldova as a country, but also Moldova's business community. So I hope that that momentum will continue also after the elections, when a new government has to decide its policies.
And we hope also we will be part of this initiative. Looking to the future, what would you identify as strategic economic goals in the Netherlands' bilateral relations with Moldova?
I think for us the key is to help Moldova to become stronger. And we focus very much on topics that are, let's say, urgent, such as the energy security and cyber security, also the justice reform, economic diplomacy, human rights. But the red thread in all of this is to help Moldova become a stronger nation. This is the goal, I think, also the hope, I think, of many people, not only in a security sense, but also in an economic sense.
Your Excellency, thank you once again for accepting our invitation. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to learn more about culture and diplomacy. I'm Catalina Damian, and see you next time.